to Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson makes someone miss. Garrett Wilson's loose to the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Breece Hall cuts up the middle. Breece Hall's loose. Breece Hall's gone. Breece Hall is gone. He walks into the end zone. Josh Allen fires it over the middle. Intercepted. Sauce Gardner picks off Allen. Sauce Gardner, let's go. The rookie picks off Josh Allen. Win it. Get ball. Oh my God. Drops back to pass. He fires it over the middle. Touchdown. Garrett Wilson. The New York Jets tie the football game. The rookie. The Jets win. The Jets win. Ashton Davis. Isis the King. Let's go. Handle Quinton Williams with the tackle for loss. That's a loss of 5 yards. Josh Allen is going to fire up a bomb. Josh Allen. Sauce Gardner's there for the game winner. The New York Jets beat the Buffalo Bills and improved to 6-3 on the year. Sauce Gardner. That's how we get on the ball, boys. Yeah. Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? We have made it to the end. It's the end. The Jets season is over, everybody. And we finished 7-10 on a 6-game losing streak. We got a lot to talk about, okay? We got a lot to talk about. So whether you're tuning in live here on YouTube or you're watching it live on Twitter, welcome in to a Jets Media live show here on a Monday. As you guys know, every single Monday here on the channel, we go live and we bring in you guys to voice your opinions. It's going to be a live call-in show. Don't you worry. You guys can come on here and voice your frustrations with this team. You can come on here and voice your optimism if you have any. You can do whatever you like. It's my job to give you guys a platform because Jets fans, your voice deserves to be heard, just like mine. And yeah, we're going to be breaking down the game yesterday against the Dolphins. We're going to be talking about the season as a whole. Obviously, we'll be talking about the offseason and what the Jets could be doing. Whether it comes to personnel changes, coaching changes, we will see. As of right now, we have not heard any news regarding the coaching staff. But spoiler alert, Robert Saleh's not getting fired. I know that we're going to be hearing about it all day. Richie, fire Saleh. They need to fire Saleh. Well, sorry, guys. It's not happening. It's not happening. Robert Saleh will be back next year, and it's the right move, in my opinion. And we will see. But we also heard from Quinton Williams today. Quinton Williams spoke to the media, and he said that he's not going to join the voluntary offseason program unless the Jets give him a contract. He deserves a damn contract, so give him that contract, Joe Douglas. Come on, baby. If there's anybody on this team that deserves to get paid a lot of money, it's Quinton Williams. Outside of the obvious Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson, they do not deserve, well, they cannot get extended. They're literally rookies coming off their rookie contract. Year one on their rookie deal. We got a long time before we have to worry about paying Sauce and Garrett Wilson. But the priority needs to be taking care of Quinton Williams and then pivoting to the quarterback position. We heard from Connor Hughes of SNY say that if Lamar Jackson does become available, the Jets will be going all in for him. Now, I'm not going to get my hopes up for that. Don't really see the Baltimore Ravens doing that because they got all the leverage with Lamar Jackson. They can franchise tag him and as long as they want. You saw what they did, what the Dallas Cowboys did with Dak Prescott. I think that's going to be what's going to happen with the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. So do not get your hopes up for that, guys. I don't see that happening. We'll see if Derek Carr gets cut. I think that's probably going to happen. Jimmy G, who's coming off an injury, he's an option. Mike White, unrestricted free agent. Are the Jets going to go out there and re-sign Mike White for depth purposes? Zach Wilson, is he going to be up there in the trade block or are they going to keep him? Are the Jets going to make some changes at the offensive coaching staff? Is Mike LaFleur going to stay? Is Rob Calabrese going to stay? Are we going to add new offensive minds to that coaching staff? We should. Because that's been the issue with this team and the collapse. The collapse of this team has been the offense. 3 straight games, no touchdowns. 0. against the Miami Dolphins team, by the way, who has given up 27 plus points per game in their last 5 outings, and the Jets offense couldn't even put up more than 6. Yeah, we had a practice squad offensive line out there. Yeah, we had Joe Flacco out there. I don't care. We still should be able to score a touchdown in the NFL against a team. I don't care who's on the field. I don't care who's injured. That was inexcusable yesterday. So that's really what we're going to be talking about today, guys. Yesterday's game and the overall outlook of the season. So you guys can do me a gigantic favor. Please hit that thumbs up button on your way into the show, guys. We're just getting started here on the Monday call-in segment of Jets Media. So please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you are indeed new. Now, I think that this Jets season is going to be thought back on in the future in a season like, wow, the quarterback carousel. You cannot ask for a Jets team or any NFL team to be a successful organization with a revolving door at quarterback. If there's one position that you need to have the same guy playing every single week, it's that position. And the Jets went into the season with an injury to Zach Wilson, starting Joe Flacco. Zach Wilson comes back. Zach Wilson starts stinking. That he gets benched for Mike White. Mike White gets injured. Zach Wilson comes back. Zach Wilson stinks. He gets benched for Strevler. Mike White comes back. He re-aggravates his ribs. And Joe Flacco comes back. That's a recipe for not a playoff team, guys. It's that simple. So that's going to be the number one option for the New York Jets this off season. Quarterback, offensive line. Now, when it comes to the offensive line, I think it needs to just stay healthy. Because I loved this offensive line on paper heading into this season. But we got injured everywhere. Starting with Mekhi Becton, who, by the way, looks like he's in great shape. He spoke to the media today in the locker room. Right when Mekhi Becton went down. Oh, my God, here we go again. All right, Dwayne Brown's down early on. Oh, God. George Fant's down. Oh, my. Max Mitchell, oh, he's playing good. Elijah Vera Tucker, superstar, he's down. So, this terrible stuff, man. Terrible stuff. So the offensive line needs to be worked on. And that's obvious. I mean, we literally had an offensive line yesterday that you can't even evaluate the offense in totality because we had Mike Remmers, Dan Feeney, Cedric Ogbuye as our 3 starting offensive linemen. And I don't even blame Joe Flacco. I really don't. I mean, if you're an offense playing with that talent at offensive line and you're going up against a blitz-heavy defense that just plays man coverage with a single high safety and they're going to blitz every single time, Joe Flacco had literally less than 3 seconds to throw the ball. Joe Flacco also had absolutely no running game to lean on. I mean, the offense has just been a disaster. Without an offensive line, this offense is not going to be anything because the offense is all about grounding and pounding it down your throat, winning in the trenches. And when the offense does not win in the trenches, the offense stinks. Doesn't matter who's at quarterback. We saw the offense stink with Zach Wilson. We saw the offense stink with Mike White. We saw the offense stink with Joe Flacco. When you have an offensive line like we did on the field against the Miami Dolphins yesterday that cannot run the ball. I think our longest run was 5 freaking yards. Atrocious. Joe Flacco I don't think he had one opportunity to throw the ball, and he had more than 3 or 4 seconds. So Joe Flacco wasn't the issue yesterday offensively. It was the offensive line, and it was no running game. That's really what the thing about the offseason is going to be for me. Fixing that offensive line and obviously getting a quarterback because Joe Flacco is not going to be the guy next year. And when you look at and that's not really making excuses, just the reality of the situation, guys. And it shows you how injured that these players were playing with, by the way. And this is the reality, guys. This is not me making it up. Dwayne Brown has been playing through a torn rotator cuff all season long. George Fant has been basically playing on one knee all season long. Nate Herbig has been playing with a bad heel and a bad shin all season long because they didn't play yesterday because the game didn't mean anything. Well, guess what? Those 3 offensive linemen I just mentioned, they would have played against the Dolphins yesterday if that game meant a playoff opportunity for the Jets. But since it had no implications, they're like, all right, we're not going to keep risking these injuries. So that tells you that the Jets' offensive line, as banged up as they were playing through injuries all year. You kidding me, bro? It's so ridiculous. They were so injured to the point where they couldn't even play in a meaningless game. So you got to tip your cap to Dwayne Brown first and foremost, because that man is a selfless warrior. He elected to not get surgery and play through the injury. And I got a lot of respect for that. And now the offense, the biggest bright spot of that offense yesterday is simple. Garrett freaking Wilson. Can we talk about that for a second? Garrett Wilson is proven to be a star. 1,100 yards, 80-plus receptions, 4 touchdowns to finish off his rookie season. I don't think he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think that might go to Kenneth Walker from the Seattle Seahawks and whatever. But you're telling me that Garrett freaking Wilson put up those numbers with 3 different quarterbacks throughout the season? Can you imagine? Just imagine the Jets get an actual quarterback that can play all 17 games with Garrett Wilson. That fella, Garrett Wilson, is going to get 1,500 yards and 8 touchdowns. So don't hang your heads too low. And then how about this fella right here, Sauce freaking Gardner? I think Jets fans, we know how good he is, but we also need to actually take a step back and realize the season that he just had. Sauce Gardner had one of the best seasons you'll ever see from a cornerback ever. And he's a freaking rookie. He's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's already a Pro Bowler. He could potentially be an All-Pro. The Jets went the entire season defensively without allowing one quarterback to get more than 275 yards. That's ridiculous. The defense also went the entire season with giving up one receiver to get 100-plus yards. And that was back in Week 4 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, that being George Pickens. And these aren't little mini moral victories, guys. These are serious stuff that we have to realize that we got building blocks. And that wasn't just Sauce. That was DJ Reed as well, and Michael Carter II, and Jordan Whitehead, and LaMarcus Joyner. The entire secondary collectively went crazy this season. The issue defensively is not them. It's the running backs and tight ends over the middle of the field. It was never on the perimeter. That was never the issue. I mean, my problem with the defense, too, is it kind of upsets me that Jets fans are starting to call our own defense overrated. Because we're falling victims to holding this defense in such a high standard, to being elite, that when they're not putting up zeros and not getting turnovers everywhere, they're overrated. They stink. Fire Saleh. He did not do anything good this year. He has no impact on the season. He's trash. Defense is overrated. Get a new coach in the building. And I just don't think that's that's right. You got to give the coaching staff their credit, man. And listen, they've dropped 6 straight at the end of the year, and that's a 100% thing that we need to talk about. But I'm talking about the entire season as a whole. When you're a defense that was literally last in the NFL last year in every single category, to go into top 5 the next season, that tells you that, I'm talking from a defensive perspective here, that defense knows what they're doing. We got the building blocks. We got Quinnen Williams, who's a superstar, who we're hopeful to extend. We have Sauce, who is a superstar. We have DJ Reed, CJ Mosley, a Pro Bowl guy. The talent's there on defense, and I think it's going to get even better next season. So the defense is going to do a great thing, man. And the offense is going to be the biggest question for this offseason, man. How are we going to fix this offense? Who's the quarterback? What are we going to do with that offensive line? Also, we do finish with the 13th overall pick, so that's another thing. Y'all defense carried y'all this season. Y'all offense couldn't score for over a month. Thank you. See, this is the thing that keeps, and I can tell Hollywood is not a Jets fan because he's calling, he's saying y'all, not our, right? So it feels like every fan that's not a Jets fan realizes that how freaking good our defense is and how bad our offense is. And they're trying to fire Saleh. So, and this is a Dolphins fan speaking up right here. This is a Dolphins fan saying that our defense carried us. They did. And then we have people saying that our defense is overrated and it's bad. That's not it. The issue is the offense. If we had an average offense this season, bro, if we had an average offense putting up around 20 to 25 points a game, we're in the playoffs. We're in the freaking playoffs right now, okay? And that starts with Mike LaFleur. It starts with the injuries that we've suffered. And Robert Saleh has a lot of things to work on as well, because when you're a head coach, you're not just coaching one side of the ball, right? Saleh's needs to be held accountable for the offense, the special teams, the defense, the clock management, his ability to, handle the media, which I think he does a pretty good job at, even though a lot of people doesn't like the things he says in the media. But I think he handles the game of a New York media very well. And I just feel like you have every right to be frustrated with Saleh right now, but I don't think he is the guy to point the finger at right now. I think there's a lot more issues that needs to be doing it, man. And the reality is we finished on a 6-game losing streak. We were in every game up until that Jaguars game, and then we just started falling apart. Offense just completely looked awful from then on out. Awful. I want to throw up. I want to throw up. Frustrating stuff, guys. Frustrating stuff. But luckily, man, we got a whole offseason to talk about what's going to happen next. And we're going into next season, guys, with a playoff mandate. No one had a playoff mandate this year. We wanted meaningful games in December this year, and we got that, but we lost every single one. We lost every single freaking one. That's going to sting. Also, Robert Saleh printed out a t-shirt that says finish on it and gave it to every single player in the locker room. Now, I already see people on Twitter, oh, what? He's a loser. Like, what is he doing? Why don't he just win games? That's the message for next season. Finish. Because do not forget the start that this team had. Do not forget that we were 5-2 and 6-3 and 7-4. That wasn't just random stuff. The reality is that the Jets team has proven where the identity, when it works, when they're dominating in the trenches on both sides of the ball, when they're running the football, when they're forcing turnovers, when they're limiting their own turnovers, they are a team that can win football games. But when the quarterback starts to play like crap and the offensive line continues to be injured and the run game becomes non-existent, you're going to lose. And unfortunately, this team does not have a superhero on the offense to save them. Right? Very frustrating stuff. Richie, as a Bills fan, I can relate to your situation. The Bills used to be a defensive team with the weak offense that squeezed out points. Yeah, that's it, man. We are a good defensive team that the offense is far behind. But luckily, we have this fella right here, Garrett Wilson, on the offense to really be excited about. We have Breece Hall that's coming back next year to be excited about. We have Elijah Vera-Tucker, who is arguably one of the best young offensive linemen in the NFL that unfortunately missed the whole season after that Broncos game. We have pieces on the offense to be excited about, but the biggest piece that we don't have is the quarterback, and that's going to be the biggest discussion point of the offseason. You did have a superhero in the offense until he got hurt. And that's true. And that's another thing that we need to realize, guys, whether you want to admit it or not, whether it's a sad thing or a good thing. When we were 5-2, it was the Breece Hall show, and everyone knew it. I mean, everybody knew the reason why the New York Jets were winning was not because of Zach Wilson, was not because of Joe Flacco early on. Breece Hall literally took over the entire team. And you're right, Mike. He was our superhero. He was the guy that we leaned on. Guess what? The game against the Denver Broncos, we beat the Broncos because of Breece Hall, and Breece Hall played one quarter. Breece Hall had a 65-yard touchdown run that game, and that was the only touchdown the Jets scored, and they beat the Broncos 16-9. Breece Hall was the reason why we beat the Miami Dolphins, as Hennessy just alluded to during Jets Media Day. He literally had 197 total yards. So Brees Hall going down, the same game that Elijah Vera Tucker went down. And I know that the injuries can't be excuses, but when you have two players that are literal superstars, this is a superstar driven league, guys. I know the next man up mentality is a serious thing. And if you're a good organization, you have depth, you have players that can step in their position and fill in for them. But when you're talking about a rookie in Brees Hall, who, by the way, finished leading the Jets in rushing after not even playing since, what was that? Week number 7. Brees Hall finished leading the Jets in rushing yards with 463. There's not one person to go over it. He was our entire offense. And when Brees went down, man, I'll never forget that victory Monday we celebrated against the Denver Broncos. That was the worst victory Monday I can ever remember. I had a feeling of defeat in me after we won. We beat the Denver Broncos to get to 5-2. Right? Yeah. 4-game winning streak. And all I could think about is, oh my gosh. Brees Hall's done for the year. Elijah Vera Tucker's done for the year. This could be the beginning of the end, but at the time, I didn't want to admit it. I'm like, okay, we're going to be okay. We're going to be able to figure it out. We got Michael Carter. We just traded for James Robinson. We have Zonovan Knight if we need to use him. We have some depth on the offensive line. But the reality is, bro, the team just went downhill from there. And I see some Steelers fans in the chat. One thing I'll say to you is our apologies, because I wish we helped you guys make the playoffs, because that means we would have won. But I also have to say is if you want to make the playoffs, you should have beat the Jets back in week number 4. If you beat the Jets in week 4, hey, you'll be in the playoffs, but we beat you. Pittsburgh, the New York Jets beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you beat the Jets back in week number 4, you would have been in the playoffs. So don't blame us. Don't blame us. Blame yourselves. Yeah, man. Just voicing out my frustrations. I really am. Really, really frustrated, man. I miss Brees Hall, and it's really unfortunate that injuries feel like it's the issue every single year for us. Well, more this year than anything. All right, guys. So, guys, do me a favor. Hit that like button. We're going to be opening this up to a live call-in show very shortly. I just wanted to get off everything off my chest before I open up and allow you guys to get your opinions in here. And the New York Jets, bro. Season's done. 7-10, 6-game losing streak. I mean, bro, we were 7-4 and we finished 7-10. Is that even real? Like, is that even a real thing? Awesome, LA. Maybe the Jets should get a 3rd-round running back. Yeah, I think the Jets are going to draft a running back this year. I think the Jets are going to be drafting a running back and a wide receiver every single draft. You need fresh legs at those positions all the time. So it's a disappointing day, guys. The season's over. We're not going to be able to watch a Jets game for a long time. But it's okay. We got to rebuild this O-line, get a QB, and we'll be good. All right? We'll be good. We'll be good. All right, let's freaking open this up to Q&A already. Let's get you guys to call in. All right, so at the top of the chat, you can click on the link and you can come on here to join the show. And we can talk about the current state of the New York Jets. Because I'm pissed off thinking back on this season, man. But there are still some things that happen. Richie, will you call any playoff games? I'm definitely thinking about that for sure. I got to figure out which playoff games I want to do, though. It's going to be such a bittersweet live stream, though, me calling a playoff game. It's like, why am I calling a playoff game that's not the Jets? What are we doing here, Rich? What are we freaking doing here? All right, guys, we got people joining in already. If you guys want to join in, you guys know where to go. Click the link at the top of the chat, and we're just getting started here, everybody. Hit that like button on your way into the show as we get to the first caller right now.
Hey, Richie.
How's it going, man? Welcome back to the stream.
Hey, how's it going? So I'm gonna conclude with this. I keep hearing words about Woody Johnson needs to take action and he needs to figure out what to do with the coaching staff and stuff. I'm gonna conclude with this. That guy, he needs to shut his mouth. He's part of the problem. And if anyone, and I recommend to every Jet fan, do not watch his press conference because all he's gonna do is talk BS. Nonsense.
You're talking about Woody?
Yes. Ugh, I can't stand that guy.
He definitely will be speaking nonsense.
All he does is nonsense. So let's be real here. He's not, all he does, he's cheap, doesn't care about the fan base, like Uncle Steve. You and I both know that because we're Mets fans.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And on top of that, he doesn't give a crap about the team. He's just using them as a profit for his own reputation. I say we make his reputation down the toilet and make him realize you're part of the problem. Don't try to play victim, you know? But overall, that's pretty much all I need to say. So
no, and I'm really happy you brought up Woody because I feel like he's kind of a person that doesn't really get brought up in these types of situations. And it starts with the owner. It always starts with the owner. And I'm not a fan of the Johnsons. Never have been. And they haven't proved to me. And I don't think anybody's ever been a fan of an owner of their team until we know as Mets fans, Steve Cohen took over, because the difference of Steve Cohen is he's a fan that bought the Mets. And he just happens to be super rich, but he's a fan and you can feel it. And I met Steve Cohen on Saturday at an event.
I saw the picture with you and Wardy. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I told Steve, I was like, hey, Steve Cohen, like, I just want to say, like, you grew up in the same town as my father in Great Neck. And like when you bought the Mets, it just feels right because you're one of us and you're running the team like a fan. And I appreciate that because all these other owners I can't stand because all they care about is money and they don't care about, you know, the actual fan base. And you can tell it's a genuine relationship that he has. And he just happens to be super, super rich.
And real quick, Richie, before I let you go, if there was some miracle from my lips to God's ears that Uncle Steve gets the Jets, we'd be watching Jet football like crazy, and we'd be smelling.
It's not happening, Chris. I already asked him. I'm sorry, Chris. I asked him if he's a football fan. He's like, nope, not a football fan. I was like, Jets or Giants? He's like, nope, neither. And then, I was like, okay, well, you're definitely not buying the Jets. He's like,
one can dream. All right, Richie, have a good one.
Chris, thank you, my man. I appreciate the call.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, man. Great call in from Chris. We got a super chat from Frankie. Richie, I'm a Dolphins fan, but I like your stream as a Jets fan. Focus on a new offensive coordinator and a quarterback, and you guys make noise with that defense. Fins up. Frankie, I appreciate that, my man. This is why I love Jets media, because we have fans from all across the NFL, of course, the AFC East. So, Frankie, from the Dolphins fan perspective, I appreciate you. Good luck in the playoffs. AFC East matchup between the Bills and the Dolphins. That's going to be definitely a fun game. And good luck to you guys and GG's yesterday. So, Frankie, again, man, I appreciate the donation. All right, next caller, we got the legend, Indiana Jets.
What's going on, my man?
You know, we've been better, but we're at the end, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
I tell you, you know, being in Indiana, I had to watch two quarterbacks from the Colts for years. And to watch the downfall of both of those quarterbacks was the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. The offensive line went to crap with the Colts under Manning, and they destroyed Andrew Luck.
Oh yeah.
But you give Peyton Manning 3 to 4 seconds, he would pick you apart, and he did it for years. And I just want to say, you know, I was saying this on Green Bean, and I got roasted for this, that we were turning Zach Wilson into David Carr back before the Denver game. I mean, he was looking gun shy even then. We were winning, but not because of him.
Yes.
And by the end of the season, you said it yourself. You know, yesterday's game was a practice squad offensive line. and everybody wants to go to LaFleur. Everybody wants to say, we need a quarterback. We need a quarterback. I don't care who you put back there. You could put an Andrew Luck coming right out of college back there, and guess what? He would want to quit the NFL.
Yeah, no doubt. Flacco didn't play that bad yesterday. If you think about it.
No, he didn't. That's if you want to say LaFleur's the problem, or we don't have a quarterback's the problem. No, the problem is that last year's defense was half the defense was on IR. That's why we ranked 32. This year, we had 2 guys on the offensive line that played 99% of the stats. Outside of that, we didn't have one guy play over 70.
Yeah.
Not one. I mean, I just looked it up today. Not one guy. Now, Tom Brady this year looked less Tom Brady, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And he was playing with 2 offensive linemen, second stringers. And his play went way down. You're talking about an experienced quarterback with just 2 guys, and they were on their second string. We were on our 5th, 6th string guys. We were on guys from the street, Dr. whatever his name is, Tardoff.
Yeah.
We were on guys. Joe Douglas did everything he could. I mean, he got to the point where once Becton went down, okay, we go out and get a 38-year-old tackle. He did everything he could. When you got to the point where there was no other offensive line in the NFL to bring in, and you're talking about a practice squad guys with a young quarterback, and I'm not a Zach Truther or whatever you want to call them. I'm not a pro Zach or an anti Zach, but we destroyed that kid. The offensive line did, and I don't know, just like the Texans did with David Carr. They destroyed that kid. Mm-hmm. Why? And I just looked it up today. He didn't have his first 3 years. He didn't have an offensive line, one single offensive lineman that played all 16 games. Mm. Now, what does that do to a quarterback? Now, but when you look at Tom Brady's successful years, I looked that up today too. He had 4 of his 5 offensive linemen play 90% of the snaps the entire year. Now, what does that tell you when your offensive line plays the entire year? He went and won Super Bowls.
Continuity matters, man.
And so to say we need a new quarterback and we need a new offensive coordinator and all that, what did you want them to do? Who could you put back there with that offensive line and be successful? Could you put Lamar Jackson back there? He might have been a little bit more successful, or he might not, he might be out. His offensive line was terrible this year too, and he's injured.
Yeah, and you also have to realize with the offensive line, as you know, it's not even just protecting the quarterback. It's establishing a run game, which is the identity of this entire offense, and they can't do that with the offensive line that they have.
Right, and so the offensive line helps the quarterback, helps the running back, but when you have guys like, I mean, come on, it was just that bad. And whether it was Mike White, it didn't matter who was back there. I don't care who you put back there. We weren't going to be successful. And losing our number 1 running back.
Oh yeah, and our number 1 offensive lineman.
Right, and the center played pretty decent this year. He played really well when AVT was in. Mm-hmm. And even when AVT moved to left tackle, the offensive line was still playing really well.
And the offensive line, it's so unfortunate because the injuries, but also Laken Tomlinson, giant disappointment. I mean, even Connor McGovern played better than Laken Tomlinson. Tomlinson was so bad this year. The only thing he brought to the table was durability, which you got to respect because we need someone that can stay healthy. But Tomlinson was a disappointment. McGovern was a roller coaster. He had a little more good than bad. But then around that, man, if you're talking about the tackles playing on one leg with George Fant, Dwayne Brown playing with one shoulder, AVT going down. I mean, Douglas did his as best job as you can in terms of finding people off the street, and hopefully we can just get lucky. And not to mention Max Mitchell, who looked like a great rookie, and he goes down with an unfortunate health concern. So you're on the money, man. Joe Douglas came here to fix this offensive line, and it's so unfortunate because everybody he brings in can't even play.
And you watch next year when we get healthy again, And I hope that Becton becomes the player that we all want him to be.
Yeah, he's
You know,
very important to this team.
and AVT comes back, and it now that you have that offensive line, if you can keep those 5 guys healthy, you can put an average quarterback back there.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had a free, not a unrestricted free agent or whatever you want to call him, Bam Knight, which turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Wasn't even drafted.
Yeah.
You know, we lost our best running back. Name me a team in the NFL history or a quarterback in the NFL history that suffered that kind of loss that succeeded.
Yeah, it's just really the odds were against the Jets this season offensively, and they couldn't.
And so I'm saying
people want to blame fingers and like point fingers at LaFleur and this, but there's such a bigger picture here that we need to really realize what's going on. That I couldn't agree with more than what you're saying.
And even Mike White, when he came in, he looked really good against Chicago. It was Chicago, but he looked pretty good against Minnesota. He looked pretty good against Buffalo. There was just some things we needed to tweak to score in the red zone, which we didn't do. You're talking about his second and third game this year.
Yeah.
Again, behind that offensive line. When everybody
got killed against Buffalo because of that offensive line, literally.
Exactly. You put him or anybody behind a good offensive line with Breece Hall, with Garrett out on the outside. But firing the coach or firing the offensive coordinator and bringing a whole new system in and bringing a quarterback in is not going to fix the problem. If I don't care who you put back there this year, it wasn't going to fix the problem. I don't care who you put out there next year if we still have the same offensive line problem. It's not going to help. You can bring Carr in, Jimmy G in, Lamar in. It doesn't matter if you don't protect them. So the first priority has to be we got to get healthy and protect our quarterback, whoever is back there.
I agree, right, man, and you couldn't have said it better. The offensive line is going to be the number one priority this season outside of the quarterback position, obviously, for a lot of reasons, and they got to stay healthy. Mekhi Becton looks slimmed down today in his press conference, so that's a good sign. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and ABT's coming back. Apparently that torn tricep, a lot of offensive linemen had those injuries and came back the same player. So that's the only thing we can hope for. So I appreciate you coming on the show, my man. We're going to get to the next caller.
It's been great. It's been great with you all year this year. I look forward to the offseason, the draft. Yeah, you have the best content for the draft. And I hope, this year you make it to the NFL Network and they ain't poking fun at you for your reactions. It's great.
We'll see about that. We got a lot of things planned for the draft this year that I'll be announcing soon. So I appreciate all the
right.
support.
Bless you, brother.
Bless you too, my man. Thank you. Awesome. That's an OG right there. He's been following the channel for a long time. Shout out. All right. We got the next caller. What up?
Hello. Hello,
Hey.
everybody.
Hey, what's up?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay, man.
I like what that guy said. Earlier. He's 100% correct. The offensive line was the biggest problem on our team. Most definitely. Watching that game, just showed that the defense is going to be on another tier. It's going to be on another tier. Do I think they need a little bit more pieces? Probably maybe in the safety position. But instead of that, our defense is already top tier defense.
Definitely,
in the league. It's just the offense. If they want to bring back Mike LaFleur, I don't have no problems with it, but I hope that we get some offensive linemen or just something to help out the quarterback that we have, or get a new veteran quarterback or something. Hopefully they do that stuff. But I will say, if they do fire Mike LaFleur, hopefully, if you want to do power running, get a guy that knows how to power run. Knows how to do the power running and knows how to do the play actions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people want to fire Mike LaFleur. If I had to guess, I don't think he's going to get fired, but he very well could be. I think it's 50-50 chance. I think there's a lot of issues on this offense that needs to be figured out. But if they do bring back Mike LaFleur, the one thing that they really want them to do is bring in another, experienced offensive mind on the staff, whether it's the quarterback coach, whether it's passing game coordinator, run game coordinator. I don't care who it is. You need to bring in another experienced offensive mind in here and build up that offensive line. And I
No.
think that's really where it's going to start.
Yeah, most definitely. I do agree with one guy that said on SNY that was like the reason why. This is the reason why I kind of don't want to fire Matt LaFleur. What offense coordinator would want to be in the situation that the Jets are in right now? We have a question mark at quarterback. We have a question mark at offensive line. We have a question mark in halfback with you don't know if Bryce Hall is going to be at 100% next year. It's like, what experienced offensive coordinator going to say, I want to go to that team?
I know, man.
Like, it's not a great situation to be in. It's not the greatest situation. So that's my decision with keeping Matt. That's my reasoning to keeping Matt LaFleur on there because he might not have a little bit of like a problem like with play calling. But here's the thing that would be pretty sad for all of us. This offensive playbook is the best playbook we had in years.
I mean, yeah,
it's the best playbook we had in years.
That's what people need to realize. The system that we're running here is successful everywhere.
Yeah,
it's not like we're using a broken system.
It's like, and people are gonna be like, "Wow," that's not true, but it is. Think about all the playbook that we had before. I will say. 2009 with Mark Sanchez and that offense.
Yeah, man.
Right, like think about all the offensive playbook that we had. It's been awful. It's all been awful. And now with this playbook, it might not be the best playbook, but it's the best playbook we had in a long time. So,
it is, and it's proof because you look at all the systems around the league, whether it's Green Bay, whether it's Cincinnati, whether it's San Francisco, this and the Rams, the system is real and it works. It's proven throughout a long time in the NFL. It's just a matter of getting the offensive line and getting the run game. And I'll say it one more time, guys, the system that we're running here never will work without establishing a run game. It is not a pass first offense. It starts with the ground, and we have not been able to run the ball, which is why we've been failing. And that starts up front. That starts with the offensive line. So, and that's really all I have to say about that because it gets me so pissed. But anything else you'd like to say, man, before we get to the next caller?
Two things. One, Garrett Allen is a monster. Garrett Allen.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I mean, Garrett Wilson is a monster. Garrett Wilson is a fucking monster.
Hell yeah, baby.
It pissed me off that they took down 13 yards.
I know. He deserved 100 yards.
Yeah, he deserved the 100 yards then. And also, number two, you said about the quarterback coach. I want to fire him as well. But the thing is, as well, I'm pretty sure that's the quarterback coach that Zach Wilson had like personally.
Yeah. Beck?
Yeah, Beck. Beck is the quarterback coach that Zach Wilson brought in personally.
Yeah.
So like that's his personal guy. So if we fire him, well, we gotta try to persuade him to persuade Zach Wilson. Maybe you get rid of that quarterback coach entirely because something is not right with the mechanic that he's putting in place.
Definitely.
It could be offensive lineman trouble. I'm not putting that out of the mark here, but
very well could be offensive line.
Reset his, but if you want to fully reset his passing mechanics, like
starts with coaching, and it also starts with Zach.
Then you gotta fire that coach, and then tell Zach Wilson, hey, how about you go to someone else, someone with high level that knows how to do the footwork. Like, there's some people on YouTube that could definitely teach him how to do
it's the truth, man. I agree with what you're saying because you're bringing up, the coaches I just don't trust the coaching staff that's in charge for Zach Wilson. So, man, I do appreciate the call. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you on Wednesday night, I'm assuming, on the round table.
Yeah, I'll be there. I was not there for personal family reasons. Nothing bad, but
that's okay, man. Don't worry about it. We love to have you whenever you can make it. So I'll see you Wednesday. If not, I'll see you the next Wednesday. Appreciate you, my man. All right, another great call in. Guys, if you want to join the show, click the link at the top of the chat and hit that thumbs up button for your boy. That helps out a ton, man. Hey, we got the legend in the house.
What's up, Richie?
What's good, my man? How you doing?
Nothing. Just about to leave the mall.
There you
Trying
go.
to going home. Just got some lunch over here, Chick-fil-A. Trying to
There you
return
go.
that. But
Some
that's what it is.
Chick-fil-A in the parking garage, tuning into some Jets media.
Now, once I saw you open up the lodge, I was like, wait, let me sit here, because knowing my luck, I'm gonna start driving while I'm listening, and that's how I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna be in the middle of the highway while I'm on my way talking to you.
Well, you're a very safe driver. Look at that.
Nah, I just hope we just get this thing right, though. For the quarterback, though, I can see us going with Garoppolo or Carr if we're honestly gonna move on from Zach. I feel like Lamar. Like the only way I can see us keeping Zach is if we're getting Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's done. He's not going to the playoffs, right? So let the speculation rise. Does he want to leave one LaFleur to go to the other LaFleur? I mean, the opportunities are endless.
You heard what he said though to Jameson Williams?
Yes, I did.
Because yes,
I'm going to keep this
yeah,
one
he said it's his
in
jersey.
case it's his last
He's
jersey.
like, nah, I can hold on to it.
Maybe
Said
he
it
thinks
all
it's
along,
his
man.
last time wearing the Packers jersey. You never know.
Probably. I just want
You
everyone
never
though.
know.
We just need to get healthy. That's it. Because what we have right now, though, if we're fully healthy, though, what do you have? You would have Becton on the left side, AVT on the right, Langan Thompson, and then Connor McGovern. Do you put AVT at guard next to McGovern, or do you leave him at tackle and you would just keep Max Mitchell as well?
I don't know, man. It's a good question because you got to think about Mekhi Becton coming back, obviously. You'd assume, in the first round, are we going to draft a tackle? So it's like, I think the Jets would prefer AVT to be inside because that gives him, more of a perspective. Like, okay, AVT's inside. We're going to stack the offensive tackle position, and then AVT will still be our last resort if we have to go to offensive tackle. So I think it would be the best interest to keep AVT inside at right guard. Hopefully, Mekhi Becton comes back. We still have Dwayne Brown under contract next year. We have Max Mitchell. George Fant's probably going to walk. And then I'm assuming we're going to draft another offensive tackle. So I think that's the vision I would see personally. If that makes sense.
Dwayne Brown, I can see him, though, stepping away, too, because he played through an injury that would have had him out for the year. And
He's going to get that fixed up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd keep him, just for the sake of, like, swing tackle wise. I mean, there's no reason.
No. I was thinking you would just retire, to be honest. He has nothing else to prove. That's just what I think.
He's a selfless warrior, bro. I don't even know how he even played this season.
I don't know either. It's honestly crazy, but
like we can't even give him the credit because the offensive line was so trash. But like, you gotta give him the credit, like it is from an individual standpoint.
Thompson, I feel like those gonna have a bounce back though. But last night though, I kind of pissed off some Seahawks fans. Last night, I kind of pissed them off.
What'd you do?
Nah, they were saying that Kenneth Walker's would be Offensive Rookie of the Year. It was Jamal that tweeted about it, and I said that Garrett likes to have a word with you, and I got attacked on it though. They're telling me like, what was it? That Kenneth Walker had a better year. I'm like, first off, Brees Hall would have blew him out of the water if he didn't get hurt. And Garrett Wilson had 1,100 yards. He only had, what was it, like, I think 5 touchdowns I think he had. But he had 4 different quarterbacks, and half of them couldn't throw.
Yeah. I mean, what Garrett Wilson did was unbelievable with 3 quarterbacks. Can you imagine what he would have done with a stable quarterback? And it's unfortunate. I think Garrett Wilson, it's going to be between Kenneth Walker and Wilson for sure. It's going to be between one of those, and I hope Wilson gets it, but I wouldn't be shocked if Walker does get it.
I feel like those are people that talk like that, though, the same people that are trying to say that Tariq Woolen had a better year than Sauce just because he had more interceptions.
I mean, bro, don't even feed those people. It's like so ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's just like Tariq Woolen, awesome story, 5th-round pick. Be happy with what you got. Stop comparing him to Sauce. Like, Sauce is a different animal.
Exactly, he is.
Sauce
Who do you have winning, though, for Wildcard Weekend?
Which games? I mean, I got the Bills over the Dolphins. That's for sure.
Oh my God, I can't wait for that ass kicking. That's gonna be great.
I didn't even get a chance to like look at the matchups yet. To be real,
I gotta
make a whole video about it tomorrow. Here we go.
Yeah, Niners and Seahawks, Bengals and Ravens.
I could see the Jaguars upsetting the Chargers.
Oh, I'd be happy. My brother's girlfriend's a Chargers fan, and I can just break her chops all day because we're both Clemson fans, right?
I can see the Giants upsetting the Vikings.
The Giants, I can see them win that game. I have that. Because Minnesota barely beat them. They beat them off a 61-yarder.
Yeah, and I can see the Ravens, Bengals. Bengals will probably win that one.
I want Baltimore to win that.
I can see the Bucs beating the Cowboys. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting weekend that we should be a part of.
I know. If anything, we'd be playing Buffalo. If anything.
Yeah, we'd be playing
That's why we
Buffalo.
can get healthy. That's it. Everyone's healthy and we're fine.
And I wanted to play
Because
Buffalo too. I feel like that would have been a good game.
it would have been, but I felt like though, with unfortunately having those tomorrow, Buffalo would have smacked the crap out of us. We would have got smacked. All
Yeah.
honesty. We
I
would
don't
have
even
got
care.
smacked
Get
around.
me in there, but Jets lose 6 straight. So sad.
They're gonna lose 6 straight. That means when we start next season, doesn't matter who it is, we're gonna win 6 straight. That's all.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Well, dude, I appreciate your support of the channel. This has been a fantastic season with you, and
Of course.
I can't wait to see what's next in the off season. I got a lot of fun things coming your way in terms of like events and stuff to
There might be a draft party.
keep an eye
That's
on
one
for
thing
that.
I'll say.
Yeah, draft party's definitely in the works. Definitely considering that. I got to figure out if that's possible, and we'll go from there. So I appreciate you, my man. All the
Right, I
support
got
means
you.
a lot to you, bro.
Have a good day, Richard.
You too, my man. Enjoy that Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I will.
That's the man, the myth, the legend. Mupfields. Oh. At least we have some type of positive stuff to talk about, right? Jets Unleashed. Another regular.
What up, man? How you been?
I've been all right. How about yourself?
Watched yesterday's game. Was not too happy about it,
Yeah, right.
But you know what? It could be a blessing in disguise. Dolphins get a worse pick, so
Dolphins. They don't have a pick.
Oh yeah, their pick. Sorry, I forgot their pick is gone. They only have the 49ers pick.
They have no
So-
pick. Yeah, they have the Niners pick.
So it just so now it starts the process of going through looking to the coaching and the players and see what we need, seeing what we need to do to fix, and try to repeat the first half and try to fix the second half.
Yeah. Repeat the first half, finish in the second half. That's what Saleh did. He printed shirts that say finish. And that's what the theme is going to be next season is finishing. Well, we also got to start off strong again. But finish is going to be number one.
Not only that, next year's teams are going to be it's going to be a brutal schedule. We're going against the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Giants, the Cowboys, the Commanders. Even though they didn't get in the playoff, they still are a good team. So
Yeah.
next we got to make sure we have to build this season, or else next year is going to be a lot worse than this year.
No doubt. I mean, this season coming up is going to be it for you talk about the coaching staff, right? Obviously, a handful of Jets fans are over the coaching staff right now, but I think the next season is where you can really evaluate it, where if they really disappoint and they don't look like they can do it, that's when you pull the plug. That's when you fire them. You do not bring them back for another season unless something miraculous happens, right? Playoff appearance, or you're in a win-and-you're-in scenario at the end and you just fall just short or something. I don't know, but I really hope that this Jets team can figure it out, because this season is going to be the first time as a fan base that we're expecting a playoff berth. And we haven't had that expectation heading into a season in a while.
Exactly, and not only that, teams are going to be better. So we got number one things fix this offensive line. Joe Douglas has been here for a couple of years. This offensive line should be way better than it has been. That's going to be. I know some people are gonna say that he had a good draft, but this offensive line should have been better. The Laken Thompson, that's on him. He should have. And then back then, I know he's hurt, but he had a couple of white tackles that could play. And if he's hurt, man, that's still on him in the draft. We gotta build this offensive line, get a QB, and then fix a little on defense, and we win. We're gonna go to the playoffs.
Yeah, this is the first offseason where it doesn't feel like there's a lot of holes to be filled, but the holes that do need to be filled are massive, like quarterback, like offensive line, like safeties, right? There's not really, the wide receiver position. You can say, yeah, bring in another player, but we finally found our number one receiver. Corners, we don't even have to touch the corner position at all, like not even one bit. Literally everybody at that cornerback position will be back next year under contract, and I love the depth. Everything about it's fine. So, and same with the tight ends. We got Uzama, we got Conklin, we got Rucker. Don't need to touch the tight ends this season. The running backs probably add another one in the draft maybe. and add another receiver. So the offense is pretty much set outside of the O-line and the quarterback. And then the defense is really going to be about the linebackers because Quincy Williams, Quan Alexander are free agents. CJ Mosley's big contract is looming. And then the safety position. So we'll see, man. It's going to be a lot of fun decisions to see how they do it.
And I've been looking to the contract. Over the cap says that we can get out of CJ Mosley's for most of its money. I think we could get out like $14 million last time I checked.
I would prefer the restructures contract because I think he's such an unsung hero on this team personally. Like he's not he made the Pro Bowl this year, but he's not a bad player. And I think people need to realize how important he is to this defense. Like he's going to make some bad plays. He'll miss a tackle. He'll have a penalty. He's not perfect, but the communication and leadership that he brings to this defense is so important. And without him, who are you replacing CJ Mosley with? Who is it going to be a multi-time Pro Bowler that's seen the game, that knows what the quarterback of the defense, like who is going to plug in? Is it going to be Jamie and Sherwood? Has he learned behind him enough? Are we going to get someone else in free agency? Like that's the biggest thing about getting rid of CJ. He's a very important piece of this team.
I would say is that if we move on from him, we will have to go for the free agent, go get a guy that's proven. We can't go through the draft. We can't do anything that I love CJ Mosley. The problem is how old he is. You could tell in his body he's slowing down. He's not as fast as he used to be, and that's expected. But this is the league where you have to be able to get to the sticks, and he just may not be able to do that. Not only that, covering skills too kind of sucks a bit. But I love CJ Mosley, dude. He's been outstanding though.
Quincy Williams is going to be the interesting one because he's probably the biggest free agent that we have entering the free agency pool out of anybody. You know, I think he's going to get paid, and I don't know if he's going to get paid on the Jets or not, but he's had a very good season, very under the radar season, and we'll see if the Jets are going to re-sign him or not. So
if we don't, something to keep in mind, if we don't re-sign him, we may use him as a trade thing to try to trade for like a Lamar Jackson. If somehow the Ravens
well, we can't trade him. He's an unrestricted free agent, so we would have to re-sign
Quincy.
him first.
I'm not talking about Quincy Williams. Sorry, I'm talking about
Quinnen.
Yeah, if somehow we don't pay him, he could be used as a good trading thing.
Well, I hope not. I hope Quinnen stays here forever. I don't want to trade him. No,
same, 100%. I want him here, dude. He's one of the best defensive tackles right now.
Resign Quincy to get so Quinnen feels his brother's being taken care of, then take care of Quinnen, and then let's go make a run and get a quarterback. So we'll see how that goes.
And offensive line of draft.
Hell yeah. Well, Jets Unleashed, I appreciate you as always, my man. I'll see you on Wednesday night for the AFC's roundtable, and appreciate all the support as always, my friend.
Yeah, see you guys, man. Jet up. Let's
Jet up.
Go.
Peace out, man. Hell no to trading Big Q. Yeah, no. We are keeping both Quinnen and Quincy. Please, New York Jets. Please, keep them both. Keep them both. We need them both. Thank you, bro, for the $2.
Hey, Richie. What's on, my man?
Charles, I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good. I watched the Detroit Lions and Packers game mostly at my grandmother's apartment yesterday. It was a good-ass game, man.
Yeah, I actually didn't watch it. I was so sick of football. I'm like,
well, at least Geno Smith's in the playoffs.
I know. Let's go, Geno, baby. Super Bowl.
I don't know about that, but let's see. Listen, I'm very disappointed with this coaching staff. I really am. We have some. I mean, Joe Douglas. People want to say get rid of Joe Douglas. His job. Obviously, you could criticize him for bringing in the coaching staff, but his primary job was to bring this coaching staff talent, and the talent has not been utilized well under this coaching staff. I mean, yes, Garrett Wilson's amazing. Elijah Vera Tucker's amazing when he's healthy. Max Mitchell is good when he's healthy. Mekhi Becton, hopefully when that guy stays healthy, is on the field, he's a stud. So we all know how that can be. But the thing is, it's how you coach them up. Look what Dan Campbell did with the Lions, man. They had a great season. I know they didn't make the playoffs, but the Lions started off 1-6. People said, oh, fuck the Lions. They suck. Dan Campbell's like, fuck that. We're going to play to win. We're going to be competitive. We're going to restore the roar. They wound up winning 8 of their last 10 games. They swept the Packers. for the first time in like forever. In both games against the Packers, they held them without a touchdown in the first half. That's coaching. Although the Detroit Lions don't have the defense that the Jets do, but their defensive line, you can argue that their defensive line is just as talented.
It worked us.
And their offensive line is probably the best in football.
Definitely the best in football. And that's where and that's the unfortunate thing, Charles, because that's what I wanted our Jets team to be. Their identity is the offensive line, and we have the personnel for it, but we just can't freaking stay healthy, man. I really genuinely believe.
And, you know, it's not just they staying healthy. They have to play well, too. Connor McGovern has been disappointing. Ken Tomlinson has been disappointing. Nate Herbig's been good, but he's been banged up. Oboye sucks. I don't like him.
And that's the thing. The two people you mentioned, that's the only two players that were healthy this season, has been a disappointment. And that's the only positives that McGovern and Tomlinson brought to the table is what? Being healthy. Outside of that, they have been playing, it's been up and down all season for them, more down than up. And then around them, Dwayne Brown's playing with one shoulder. Right guard is a revolving door. Right tackle is a revolving door. It's just a recipe for disaster. And it's just I'm so tired.
And I remember so many GIF, and sorry to cut you off, they want a Penei Sewell. I want a Penei Sewell too. And he's beasting up in Detroit.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have a chance to draft him, did we?
We were the number 2 pick in the draft.
We drafted Zach, yeah. We drafted Zach over him.
But you know what, though? There are some. Quinningham's had a phenomenal season. He established as one of the best defensive tackles in football. Ahmad Sauce-Gardner is going to be a great corner for many years to come. He led the league with 20 passes defense. The last Jet defender to have 20 passes defense was the future Hall of Famer, Darrelle Revis. And, C.J. Mosley had a good year. My dad was kind of disappointed with him this year, but he had a good year. But he's a classy guy. He's a leader among men. And he kept the team together. Quan Alexander, I didn't think was too bad.
Very under the radar type of player. There's really not a lot of bad players on the defense. Let's be real.
DJ Reed has been fucking amazing.
You talk about players on the defense, they're all good. Some are better than others, though, in my opinion. Jordan Whitehead is good, but he's not
more so
great.
than Jordan Whitehead.
What'd you say?
I've been disappointed more so with LaMarcus Joyner than Jordan Whitehead. I'm not saying Jordan Whitehead was great, but
Whitehead was solid. He wasn't great. He wasn't bad. He was right in the middle. He had some good plays. He had some bad plays. Tony Adams, when he filled in for Joyner, I think he has a lot of upside. I don't think Joyner returns next year. But you look at this defense, man. DJ Reed, stellar. Michael Carr II, solid. And the defensive line, they did their job. The one thing that we need on this Jets defense next year to get a little more consistencies on taking the ball away, because we had a lot of takeaways early on in the year. And then they kind of fizzled out at the end, but we were getting our sacks.
We need to do a better job forcing fumbles.
We do, but at the same time, you also have to realize that this defense was so freaking good in the red zone, man. We never gave up touchdowns in the red zone. Very, very rare that they did.
And we did not allow a 300-yard passer this year.
275 was the most, and we gave out 100-yard receiver. And every single game that we played against an offense that was hot, we held them under to their average. It's just our offense couldn't keep up, and that's the story, man. And I hear coaching. And I hear people talking about the defense is overrated and stuff, but you got to realize, man, you got to stop living in this reality of holding this Jets defense to a standard that's like unimaginably dominant. They're top in the league in a lot of categories, and there's things that they need to work on. They're not perfect, but it's obvious what the issue has been this season. At the end, it's the offense, it's the offensive line, it's the quarterback.
Well,
I
agree with what was his name, Indiana Jets. We need an offensive line. The last time we had a great offensive line was 2015. And I'll say this, once the Brickashaw Ferguson and Nick Mango left, our offensive line has not been the same.
You got that right, Charles. And with that, man, I appreciate your calling. You're always bringing the knowledge, and I appreciate the passion and the fire. This season has been spectacular. You've been here almost every single Monday, and I'm excited to continue the friendship that we've built through this channel, man. So I appreciate you, Charles.
No problem, man. Take care, all right? Stay safe.
You too, Charles. Appreciate you. All right. Thank you, Charles. Thank you to everybody being patient backstage. You guys will all be coming on. Of course, don't you worry. Next caller, we got 04 Jets fan. What's up, bro? You're muted right now, my man.
Sorry about that. I pulled you out of my pocket just in time.
Just in time. What's up, bro?
I just wanted to come give a rundown of what I thought about this season, man.
Of course.
First off, huge disappointment the way it ended.
Yes,
Absolute massive disappointment. To start 7-4 was a miracle.
sir. Yeah.
If you would have told me before the season we'd be 7-4 after the bye, I'd have told you to put the crack pipe down.
Yeah. Right.
Offensive line needs to get healthy, stay healthy. I'm gonna keep parroting that. Everybody's been saying it. We need a quarterback, either somebody to let Zach sit and give him his 5th year, or go and just walk away from Zach. Those are the 2 options.
Yeah.
Safety, linebacker are the biggest needs on the defense. Bring back Quincy, bring back Quan. And Ryan has been saying for a month or so now, let CJ retire a Jet. Bring it. I'd love to see it.
Me too.
But all right, Richie, that's what I got to say.
I agree
Go
with everything
Jets.
you said, man. I appreciate you coming on here and giving your thoughts, bro.
All right. Have a great
Go
day,
Jets.
brother.
You too, my
Go
man.
Jets.
Appreciate it. That was great. That was great. We had him come on here, talk about his thoughts about the season. I agree with literally everything he said. It's funny because us as a Jets fan, it's like kind of simple when you break down what needs to happen in the offseason. And the question is, will it actually happen though? Will we fix the offensive line? Will we get a quarterback? Will we do it? Oh, I sure hope so. Jet Warrior. Hey.
Well, Richie, man, what's going on, man?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
Good, bro, man. I'm good, man. I mean, rough season. And like the last caller said, it was a miracle that we started out 7-4, but the way it ended was just disgusting. But
Disgusting. It was bad.
we got like everybody else is saying, repeat it. Offensive line. Hopefully Becton is in shape and healthy, and we could get him back, and AVT gets back, and honestly, I think everybody else can go. I appreciated the Dwayne Brown, but that rotator cuff, man, even though he played with it at his age, that's a tough thing to come back from even after getting it fixed, man. So I would rather see somebody else in the middle of their career or a little bit earlier that's going to be healthy and be able to provide good blocking for us on that end. And then have you seen the opponents for next year? They just put it out. This coaching staff, man, they got a lot of work cut out for them, man. Kansas
The AFC
City,
West and the NFC East.
Chargers. We have more than half the schedule is all playoff teams next season. It's like I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like every year you would think that we made it to the Super Bowl the way they schedule us, man. Like every season, like we get like the toughest schedules. It's ridiculous. And I guess
really
maybe because of how good our defense was this year that they're doing that. But this coaching staff, man, Mike LaFleur, if he's still there, I don't think he should be. But if he's still there, he has a lot of work cut out for, because I believe in the defense fully. But that offense, man, if we can't score touchdowns, because that was our only issue, if we can't score touchdowns, then we won't start out 7-4 next season. That won't happen next season with the way that that schedule's looking next year. But hopefully we get a good quarterback, or maybe this guy Zach, he snaps out of his this mental funk and gets his shit together, and whoever's back there, the line protects him, and we see a big difference with all the guys we got coming back, man, because we do have a lot to look forward to. We do have a bright future, but it just all has to get put together, man.
Yeah, you're 100. I couldn't agree more with literally everything you said, bro. I mean, it starts with the O-line. Is Zach Wilson going to figure it out mentally or not, right? And, dude, we do have a bright future, and I'm happy that you said that at the end, because I feel like a lot of Jets fans are forgetting that, and they're sick of the reality of, like, hopeful for the future when it doesn't really happen. But this was an improvement, wasn't it?
It was, man. It was. We had dudes saying 0-9. We had dudes saying 3-12 and all this other crazy crap, man. We completely proved them wrong with that. And you got to give those guys credit for that, man. We can't completely just shit on them. You got to give those guys credit for the season that they did have. Yeah, it fell apart at the end, but you got to give them some type of credit for all of the trials and tribulations they had to deal with this season, because they had to deal with a lot, man. All that getting hurt and the bad quarterback play that held us back. You got to give those dudes credits for even getting to 7 wins, man. You got to give them credit.
Absolutely,
And
man.
and the CJ Mosley standard, we need CJ Mosley. All of
Thank
this get rid of. We need him. Whenever he gets hurt or he's not in the game, the defense gets lost. He puts those guys in the places that they need to be in to make those plays. So
Thank you. Say
CJ
it
Mosley
again.
needs to stay, man. He needs to be a New York Jet until he decides to retire.
He does so much to the defense without impacting it statistically that people don't realize. The communication, putting in the right situations, being the leader, riling guys up. I mean,
Yep.
you don't replace him with anybody. Like, you can't just get
Nope.
rid of him and say, all right, we'll bring in another guy who'll be CJ
Nah,
Mosley's magnitude.
and his statistics are not bad. He
Literally
is
leads
the
the league
leading
in,
tackler, isn't he?
yeah.
Yeah,
Top
so
5
I
in
don't
tackles.
understand. Yeah, I don't understand that, man. He needs to be here. That's a no brainer.
He's like, when it comes to the issues on the defense, he's not the issue. I mean, there's a lot of other
No,
issues. Not a lot of
no.
issues actually on the defense, more the offense, obviously. But it just leaves a salty taste in your mouth because we're talking about how good the season was early on, and then the 6-game losing streak kind of gives you a bad taste in your mouth. But we also need to realize all the fun stuff that we have to look forward to with Garrett, with Sauce, with the returning of Brees and AVT, with hopefully Mekhi Becton coming back. And I don't know, man. I believe in Joe Douglas's vision, and I'm hopeful that he can
I do
put
too.
this team together.
I do too. Everybody can't be perfect, man. I think sometimes us Jets fans, we're so used to being in the dumps, and we get something a little bit right and a little bit wrong, and we're just all like, oh man, get rid of him. But nah, man, he's done way more than good than bad. So Joe Douglas should be here to stay as well. I don't think he should go anywhere. He definitely put players in the position for these coaches to do something with. And like the last caller said, the coaches got to coach them up. That's just it. The coaches got to coach them up.
100%. And this is it for the coaching staff. They're all being brought back as of right now. There's no firings, and this is it, man. You got to buckle down. Year 3, you get a 3-year assessment. Hey, that's a good sign. We usually you don't get to 2 years, you know. So year number 3, and let's hope that they can build it. And let's just go make some noise next year, man. That's all I have to say. So, Jet Warrior, I appreciate the love. I appreciate the caller, my man. Love the fire and the passion that you bring, my man.
Have a good one, man.
You too, bro. Shout out Jet Warrior. That was a great call right there. We got JR Jet with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Becton just had a presser and looked like a mature, fit young man who's ready to pancake dudes right now. 2023 O-line equals worst to first. Sign me up. Now, listen, the one thing I will say about Mekhi Becton, if you guys know me, I support Mekhi Becton. I defend that man. He is my guy. And I get people always talking crap to me. Richie, shut up about Mekhi. The one thing I will say about Mekhi that we need to realize, and that Joe Douglas needs to also realize, is they cannot go into the season expecting him to be the starter because it is a big risk. He's a wild card. He's a boomer bust. If he stays healthy and if he is in shape and he plays, the talent's there, bro. He is such a good player on the field. It just so happens that he hasn't been able to be on the field the last 2 years. So very good sign that we're seeing Mekhi Becton healthy, in shape, slimmed out, because his biggest issue with his health has been his weight. You know, when you're that heavy and you're on your knees a lot, your knees are going to buckle. Your knees are going to give out. So good sign. And I'm hopeful that Mekhi Becton will be returning and he'll be back and he'll get a second contract with the Jets because he deserves it. Let's hope so. All right, man, we're going to get into the final couple callers here. We appreciate everybody. Uh-oh, look who it is. B-Man is back.
How you doing? I'm
All
all
right,
right. I got my call here to
both
come
all right.
after such a terrible loss. Say
Oh,
hi.
you got
Say hi. There she is. It's Lucy.
There she is.
Yeah, I
What's her
got the
name?
other one over there. But yeah, no, that was. I agree with a lot what the other callers said. But a lot of your other callers have said, you know, look, it's a frustrating loss. But we got to remember, the talent's here. If we can just get a competent offense going forward, we're going to compete. I mean, we've held some highly potent offenses in check throughout much of the season. We held the Bills in check. We held the Vikings in check. We exited the Bills twice. Am I forgetting anyone else right now? I'm trying to think of another one. I guess the Lions were an explosive. Every offense, you know, we've held them in check for the most part of the season. There really isn't a game where we got, maybe early on in the season we got a little blown out. maybe in a couple games, but for the most part, we kept offenses in check. The defense, for the most part, is here. We just need a little bit help tweak. We just need quarterback, offensive line. I agree. I like seeing Becton slim down. You got to have an insurance option there. I agree on that completely. I think people are just letting emotions cloud their judgment with the Jets. I mean, I get it. We're all frustrated in the immediate right now because we're angry at the collapse. We're mad. The biggest problem with Mike LaFleur was he's just trying to call plays for personnel he just doesn't have available to him at the moment. I mean,
I agree.
The plays would work if you had AVT, if you had a healthy offensive line, if you had Brees Hall. The plays you're calling are all going to work to perfection. But you just don't. You have to adapt your play calling based on what you have. And he just didn't do that for some reason, which is kind of weird because he did that last year. Start of the year, he tried to run plays that he just did not have the personnel for. And then you go into the Bengals game, he just suddenly adapts his play calling. He adjusted his play calling, and it just all started working.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that you are, you're bringing a level-headed approach to this and not letting your emotions get the best of you, because that's basically what we're seeing right now with the majority of the fan base, and rightfully so. We're pissed off. I mean, we just lost 6 straight, and the emotion's going to get the best of us. So I appreciate the level-headed approach, V-Man. That's really my approach with this whole thing, too.
Before you cut me off, I want to ask you if you're up for something.
Let's do it.
All right, so, apparently Matt O'Leary and Jake Asman have never had Puerto Rican food, so I invited them up to a Subway Series game, and before we went to the Freakin' Rican restaurant in Queens. So I thought, we could even out the Mets to Yankees fan ratio.
So I got Matt on my side. You and Jake are Yankees.
Well, yeah, I grew up in the Bronx. What do you expect?
Yeah, I know. There's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, I'm down. Sign me up. I've had authentic Puerto Rican food. And by the way, what was that drink that you were talking about last time?
Coquito.
You know what's really funny about that?
What?
The day after, my mom was drinking that, and I'm like, what are you doing? I literally had a caller on my show yesterday, V-Man, talk about that drink. I never seen you drink that in my life. And she's like, oh, yeah, my hairdresser makes it for us every holiday season. I was like, wow, what are the odds of that?
Did you try some?
I did. It was delicious.
Oh, no, it's good. I make it. I make it every Christmas and stuff because I told you.
It was just really weird how that happened because I had never seen my mom or anybody drink that in my life. And then you mentioned it, and then it's right in my face. I was like, okay, that's really funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to some other callers then.
All right, V-Man. Appreciate you, and let me know the update on the Subway Series Puerto Rican food. I'm all in.
Right. Peace.
Peace out, V-Man. Gotta love V-Man, bro. Gotta love him. Caden.
Richie, what's
up, man?
Don't mind this shirt. It's just one that I have that's just like an overall Buffalo shirt. It's not exactly a Bill shirt. So don't think
I see a Bills
ships.
flag in your backdrop too.
That's from when a friend took me to a Bills training camp and I got some autographs. So that is cool, I will say. That I have that up there for a reason.
I'll crop it out for you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So, man, end to a disappointing season. Well, the first half of the season was not disappointing. We both can agree with that. And as so many people have said, like whoever thought that we would be at the point that we are at, we have to be happy with that. 7-4. You can't look bad on that.
I know. The first half of the season, A+.
It was fun. It was a fun first half of the season, minus like the Baltimore and then like the one New England game. But it was fun. It was like Breeze and like before he went down with an injury. But like they were fun games. The Packers game, the Dolphins game, those were fun to watch. And it's like it's going downhill from there. But,
I know, man.
So just kind of had some thoughts over on just a quick off-season plan that I just kind of sketched out on a piece of paper. So if you don't mind me going through it. So basically just we all know Sauce, Quinn, and Garrett. They're the real deal. Sign them to like 100-year contracts. They are incredible. And that's the thing. I'll come out and say it. During the draft, I had wanted Kayvon Thibodeau really badly, and I was livid when we took Sauce because I was a big Bryce Hall believer at that point. I thought he was the future, honestly, along with DJ Reed then. And I wanted Thibodeau, so I was livid when we took Sauce, but now I got to say I was totally wrong.
That was like Jack, my friend Jack.
Yeah, I remember Jack was not happy. He wanted Thibodeau too, right?
Yeah, and he can
But yeah,
admit it
so
now.
basically sign them to extensions. And it was a good experience for the team to like go have like the ups and then like to have that losing streak. It really just shows that the team, how do I want to say it can build resilience. If they can fight back and show that the games that we won weren't a fluke, it can really, I think, set us up well for next year. On the topic of LaFleur, do you think he gets fired as of now?
You're not.
Okay.
I could be wrong, though. I think it's 50-50 because they're going to evaluate
Fowler was
everything.
non-committal in his press conference yesterday.
I know. There's the press
and that
conference
changed
that
from like
Fowler
a couple
had.
days ago when he said he'll be back. So you don't know.
I know.
It's hard to
I
say.
honestly can see it go both ways, but if they do fire him, I wouldn't be shocked either.
That's just the thing, because I like LaFleur's play calling overall. I just hate his red zone play calling. He tries to get too cute with it, and it comes back to bite him. Like I love his like certain play calls and in general like ideas that he draws up. It's just certain timing is his downfall, and then he just can't move the ball in the red zones. He just like goes blank. So I don't know where I stand. Like I like him, but also it's like this offense has been putrid over the last few weeks. So as if Saleh doesn't fire LaFleur, though, he has to at least bring in some older offensive mind, because that will at least take the pressure off LaFleur to be able to bring up the next quarterback. We need to bring in someone who will at least be able to focus on whoever we have as quarterback, being able to coach them, and let LaFleur be able to be a specific play caller, because Calabrese isn't getting it done, obviously.
No, sir.
I mean, he was a rookie like last year. Like he had really no experience in the position. And
Yeah,
he only got promoted because Knapp died.
Yeah. I mean, I always go back. Everyone's wondering why there's no experience in that offensive coaching staff. Well, we had one.
We can really say that a big reason why the offensive coaching staff fell down was because of lack of experience with Knapp, because he was supposed to be the guy that Wilson turned to have on the sideline, and LaFleur was originally supposed to be up in the box. But
and you also have to realize, Caden, on that, as you know, Knapp wasn't just here to develop Zach Wilson. He was here to develop Mike LaFleur.
True.
Knapp was here to develop Mike LaFleur as a first-year play caller. He was the passing game coordinator, and Greg Knapp developed guys like Mike Vick, Steve Young, and all these great quarterbacks. And the tragic loss that he had, I mean, it's bigger than football, and it's such a tragedy.
It's still though, it's like it's like a huge reason though why it's like this offensive coaching staff has struggled.
And I don't know why they didn't replace him after the season last year. That he didn't do that, and I think that's catching up to them.
Someone with some more experience than Calabrese.
Like they brought in Matt Cavanaugh last year, but then they fired Matt Cavanaugh, and then they didn't bring in anybody. They wanted to make the offensive coaching staff more simpler, where there was not too many voices in the ear of Zach, which I think hurt Zach.
I mean, I can get how that might work, but also you still need that just veteran presence.
Yeah, there's no veteran presence. We're relying on Calabrese, who has no experience, and LaFleur, who has no experience, to fix its second overall pick.
Yeah. On the top of quarterback, so I mean, our options are like, I really see it as we're getting our quarterback through free agency or trade. I just don't see us in the position that we're trading up for a quarterback, and I don't want to be drafting a quarterback with our first round pick. I really honestly just wanted to trade for Aaron Rodgers, or I mean, who knows, he might retire. But I don't trust Carr because he has a bad record in cold games. I'd be okay with Jimmy G, but wouldn't be my first choice. Lamar is way too unlikely, and I'm not big on Gardner Minshew. So I honestly think our best bet would be Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers would be great, right? That's going to be a big speculation. We don't know if he's going to become available. Derek Carr is obviously going to be the biggest talking point because he's going to get done. He's done with Vegas. So I don't know, man. I think it's going to be the quarterback position, and I agree with you on the point that we're not drafting a quarterback. Yeah, maybe we might draft a quarterback in the mid rounds for developing purposes, but we're not going to draft one in the first round. So
and we shouldn't.
We should. We're way too win now to go out there and get a rookie, unless the Jets really want to go all in and get a quarterback now and then draft a quarterback in the first round and develop him for the future. But that means you really got to trade Zach. So
I mean, if Stroud falls into your lap, how can you not pick him? But it's just the likelihood of that happening is way low. And just overall, 13 has to be a tackle, any of which ones you want. And I think we should upgrade over McGovern. There's a certain center I want. His name is John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota, a really good, productive offensive lineman. I've seen him being compared to Tyler Linderbaum, who we all wanted last year to a point. Really good center, and I think that would help us upgrade a lot. And to the people saying that I saw other people on here earlier defending CJ Mosley, we need CJ Mosley as just the presence in that locker room, because even for the offense, he's just that alpha dog leader that just everybody, like when he talks, everybody shuts up and listens.
Exactly,
Like,
man. People
he
don't
needs that
realize
voice.
that.
Maybe he should lose a paycheck for that one play in Buffalo where he went Troy Polamalu and like tried to jump the O-line.
Yeah.
But other than that, CJ has done nothing wrong. He has always went out there, except for like the COVID year and stuff, which was fluky. And he's always given it his all. And we need CJ and his experience.
I agree, and there's so much more to a football player than you see on the field, man. And that's my issue with fans just wanting to get rid of him because of two bad plays out of an entire season. We
should restructure his contract somewhat. I think that would be probably best.
They reconstructed it before the season, and I think that CJ is a selfless person that he'd be willing to do it again.
Yeah, I forgot about that now. There's so many things that can happen in the season that you can't remember them all.
Yeah,
and then just one last quick thought before I go. Of the 6, not all of the 6 games, but I went back in the Jets schedule. 6 of the games we lost were only by 1 possession. That is still a major improvement, and 4 of those were divisional games. So we won 2 divisional games, 2 more than we won in the past 2 years, and then all other 4 were 1 possession. That still is growth in division. Took one of the best teams in the league, Buffalo, down to the wire, held Miami to like those 11 points in the last game, and then we're still close in those New England games, even they were so much of bummers.
Yeah, we better beat the Patriots next year once. We better sweep the Dolphins and split with the Bills. That's how I'm looking at it next season with the AFC East. But that is I'm glad you brought that up, Caden, because a big talking point heading into this season was, what are the Jets going to look like in our own division? We were 0-6 back-to-back years, 0-12 combined. So we got 2 wins.
It starts in the division where you have to get out of the bottom.
And we freaking beat the Bills, who are the best team in the division, at home. So that tells you we blew out the Dolphins back in week 5. We unfortunately collapsed against the Patriots twice. And then our last division game was yesterday. It just felt like a crapshoot from the start. So definitely an improvement.
I always hear like analysts talking about like how Minnesota has like been so perfect in 1-score games, even though I think Minnesota is like kind of a fluke. I don't see them going very far in the playoffs. We're kind of the opposite though, in that like we are losing these 1-score games, but that just shows the competitiveness and that we have the ability. And if we can just get a competent quarterback, we realistically would be in the playoffs right now in whatever seed.
Yeah, I agree. It's
just the stat that you really like how we couldn't keep a consistent, competent quarterback for long enough.
Yeah, man, it's super, super sad. And another offseason, another quarterback to search for. How about that, Jets fans? Buckle up.
We wanted Zach to be the end of that, and
I know we did. We all wanted Zach to be the guy. All right, well, Caden, I appreciate the call in. I appreciate your calls every single week, man. Really does help.
I'll be here throughout the offseason.
Oh, yeah, you will. We're going to be getting into it together.
Jets Nation sticks together, and we just need to find an effing quarterback.
Yes, we're going to find one this year, I promise. All right, man, have a good one.
We better find a quarterback this year. If not, I'm unsubscribing.
Oh, no. Please, Joe Douglas, help. All right, Caden, appreciate you, bro. All right, so we're going to get into the final caller here. Thank you guys for being so patient and being nice. And, yeah. We got Nate. Can you hear me, Nate?
Hello, sir.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I am great. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for waiting behind stage.
I've got to be honest. I'm kind of nervous, but overall, I'm happy to see you, Rich.
Yeah, man. No need to be nervous. We're all Jets fans here, just voicing our opinions and frustration out there.
Frustration. Tell me about it. For me, Mike LaFleur has got to go. He has got to go from this standpoint. The guy favorites players. How many times throughout the games we've seen every time Garrett Wilson always be spotlighted every time and he throws it to him, or not even spreading around the ball. Even though Mike White did just enough, but not as much. But overall, yeah, he needs to go. And the special teams coordinator needs to go too. 2 punt returns for touchdowns, and one of them cost us a game. No, you gotta go too. But
yeah, one of them did cost us the game.
Overall, I'm not a Zach Wilson guy. I'm not I'm not a Zach Wilson guy, but him overall, I compare him to Daniel Jones because we see spurts and some greatness with him, but he can't be healthy. And the one time he is fully healthy, they in the playoffs. And well, that also compared to having a coach who who focus on his strengths and minimize his weaknesses. And you don't have a guy like that with Mike LaFleur. Now, do I believe we needed? Do I believe we needed an experienced OC? Most definitely. Frank Reich could be very. Frank Reich could be very a good choice, or Pat Hamilton, or even any other coach that is not a bottom 10 coordinator.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if we fire anybody, because that report's going to happen today, tomorrow, and as of right now, everyone's staying put. So we'll see.
Yeah, and overall, I will say this: Jeff Ulbrich really had proved me wrong, because I really wanted him gone, because I really thought that he was a terrible coordinator. But I have seen that with the talent, he made the defense, kept the team engaged because of the defense, and it shows that even when the offense has not been playing up to snuff, we were still in games. Like the past 6 games, we were still in games, and it's a testament to Ulbrich's coaching.
Yeah, Ulbrich. We're so caught up in the the negatives and wanting to fire this guy. How about the job that Jeff Ulbrich had? A lot of people wanted him fired early on in the year, and the turnaround that he's made was fantastic. So he's definitely a keeper. And there's a lot of things on this team, and we're in the midst of a 6-game losing streak to end off the season. So we're going to be talking about way more than the bad than the good after missing the playoffs. But the reality is, Nate, this season, 7-10, that's not going to do enough to satisfy this fan base. So with that, Nate, I appreciate the call, and you did a great job voicing your frustration with this team and giving your overall thoughts about the overall, presence of this organization. So I appreciate you, Nate.
Yeah, thank you very much, Richie, and I hope we get a better season.
Yeah, let's hope so, right, Nate? Me and you both.
All right.
Appreciate you, man. Let's go Jets. All right, well, that was the final call-in of the show. Again, guys, the Jets season's all wrapped up, and I just want to say, I've said it on my stream yesterday, thank you to everybody that's been helping me out with this channel, man. It's been a lot of fun talking about the Jets with you guys. You guys been through it with me, through all the ups and the downs. It's not really easy talking about this team, but I've made it a job, and I made it my duty to do that. And without you guys liking the streams, sending in donations, being active in the live chat, commenting your thoughts, subscribing, sharing my content with anybody on Twitter, Instagram, family, friends, you name it. You guys are really the reason why I'm able to do this. And I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that without you guys, I can't do what I'm doing. So thank you, because it really genuinely means a lot to me that you guys come here and you watch what I have to say, and you hold my opinion with weight, whether you agree or disagree with me. Just know that I appreciate you guys. And the Jets are trending in the right direction. The arrow's pointing up. Might not be pointing as up as we'd like in this moment, but just know that this Jets team is built, with a lot of youth and a lot of pieces to be excited for the future. And I genuinely believe that. And we're going to be breaking it all down this offseason. As always, we got the wild card weekend coming up. I don't know what I'm going to be doing this week in terms of content, because there's no Jets game to talk about, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. So again, guys, thank you to everybody tuning into the show. And let's freaking go Jets, man. Jets up forever. I will be here no matter what. We win, we lose, I'll be here. All right? Let's go Jets. I love you all, and I'll catch you guys next time, baby. Peace out. Enjoy your Monday, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.